Well, hello again, everyone. Welcome to Doug's Guitar of the Day, episode 15. We've got this one and two more to go, and that's about all I have that I can demonstrate that are in playable condition. I had to take a couple days off, kind of regroup. I kind of ran out of words, ran out of licks, so I don't know if I'm still back where I need to be doing these videos, but here goes nothing. So what we have today, we've got a jazz box. It's a Epiphone. It's a Joe Pass Emperor 2. It's pretty much new. I've had it less than a year. Go over the details really quick. Completely hollow body, reasonably thick, not as thick as a 175, but thicker than a 335. The top is spruce plywood, and the back and sides are really nice figured maple ply. Neck looks like it's a three-piece maple. It's got a nice headstock inlay. It's got a Joe Pass engraved truss rod cover, a rosewood board, and rectangular fret markers. It only has 20 frets. Most electric guitars that I play, like 335s and Les Pauls, SGs, and the like, have 22. Usually jazz boxes, hollow bodies, only have 20. Those guys don't need those extra 2 frets anyway. They seem to find notes that I can't. Really impressed. Actually, I've been listening to a lot of Joe Pass lately, and not consciously trying to play anything, just kind of letting it soak in. That guy's amazing. I mean, as far as playing melodies with chords and that kind of thing, it's beyond me. Really nice to listen to. A little bit more about the guitar. It's got the Epiphone E there on the pick guard. Standard 3-way toggle, volume and tone control for each pickup. There's the front volume, front tone, rear volume, rear tone. Now, wiring wise, this thing's wired in what you call the modern fashion rather than the 50s fashion, which is what I'm used to. But for a jazz box, and especially for this one, I think the modern wiring is a way to go. So you can dial in that warm jazz front pickup tone, roll that tone almost off, maybe it's about 1 or 2. But then, you can actually turn that down if it's too loud, and you still get that high-end roll-off, and it's still a warm sound. Whereas if you had 50s wiring as opposed to modern, if you rolled that volume down after rolling the tone down, some of your highs would come back. So you would kind of lose some of that jazz smokiness or whatever. This front pickup is where this guitar actually shines. They could have just put one pickup, a volume and tone, and no switch, and it would have been good to go. But if you're doing rockabilly, or you could probably even do a country or rock gig with it, you got that barking back pickup, twangy tone too. And then some nice pretty clarity in the middle position where it's using both humbuckers. But in my opinion, this is a jazz box, so I'm just going to try to let it be what it needs to be. Now, as far as modifying it, it's already got Grover keys on it. I imagine it's a synthetic string nut, but it looks like bone. I did a little bit of filing on the profile and smoothed it out a little bit, but it was fine. Only other thing I did, now this guitar has a floating bridge bass that's not mounted to the body, so it will slide around and will fall off when you take the strings off. So you either have to mark it with a piece of tape or find a way to secure it. I haven't done that yet, but in the past, what I've done is drilled actually through the top of the body, and the thumb wheel studs, put those in the holes through the top of the body. As long as you're not drilling through any bracing, that keeps the bridge in place. You don't have to worry about repositioning it. Doesn't seem to affect the tone, and especially on an Epiphone where you're not really devaluing anything. These would probably run about, I'm guessing 600 or 700. I didn't pay that much for it, but I usually whatever works. But as far as this one right now has a bridge base that is not mounted, so it will fall off or it will move if I take the strings off. Now, originally the bridge that rides on these two thumb wheels, currently I have a Tune-o-matic bridge on there to set the intonation. Originally it just had a rosewood bridge on it that you couldn't adjust the individual saddles. And if you've got bigger strings, which most jazz guitarists use with a wound G, then you really don't need adjustable intonation. But me being, part-time country picker, part-time rock and roller, whatever, I use a little bit lighter strings than what are designed for this guitar. So that's why I put the Tune-o-matic on, so I can make it play in tune with lighter strings. That's about all I've done to it, and it sounds fine like that. Trying to think if there's really any other thing I can say. Because I'm dreading trying to play with this track. I had to find a backing track that sounded like jazz but didn't have a bunch of, difficult changes. The trick to playing jazz lead guitar is you've got to kind of keep moving, because the harmony and the chord structure changes, and you've got to alternate, the notes you're playing to fit that, and it takes some thought, it takes some practice, and I haven't developed that skill yet. Basically, just probably too lazy to practice, but we'll just kind of call this. Well, actually, it says seductive jazzy groove in D. I don't know how seductive it's going to be. I don't know how jazzy it's going to be, but I'll do my best. The good thing about a lot of these backing tracks is they put the chords in front of you. I've ran through this a couple times, but basically doing what I always do and making it up as I go along. So let's try to see, in a way, what the Joe Pass Emperor 2 was made to do. So here we go. Kinda like that. Almost put myself to sleep. See you guys later.